0.1 or something, and I talked to him, so he did cut the price. I think he has some that are like as low as 0.05 for 1-of-1s right now instead of 1. Anyway.
Yeah,
I really like yours. I mean, I guess the question, are you going to go with like a universal price? I kind of think that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't really decide because there are like pieces I got for 0.07 and which I think are like still prices, but then are this is like one bundle. I got it all for 0.1, so it I would kind of feel bad asking like 0.1 for one piece. So maybe I will make like 2 pricing levels or something like that, and just like separate it visually.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like the Polaroid style, is that all from one person?
Yeah, it was like a bundle, and I got it really cheap. But yeah, the other pieces, I'm like building them and hoping someone will accept them. Yeah, got some few, like 2 or 3 ones that way.
We added one material change to the Bcard 2 today. That wasn't even. Hey, Rose Shade. Yeah, so we added one pretty big thing to the new contract that we were not even considering as of like 2 days ago, but we're going to include the number of bcards that you have in the metadata. So when you go to OpenSea, you would actually be able to like search by like how many bcards each person has, and that way. And the reason for that is not just for like like a relative ranking perspective, but kind of using a lot of bcards as a proxy for like validation. And so like if you see someone sent you a bcard and they have like 50 bcards that they've received, well, that person's a pretty serious person, and so, and then we also think that will cause people to want to go to visit the bcards themselves, because now they're going to be updated to show how many bcards do you have, and then like if you get a bcard from someone else, you'd actually like want to look at it because you'd want to see how many they have, especially in a world where there's like thousands of people or something, you're not going to know roughly where everyone sits in the rankings and everything. What do you guys think?
I think that's a great idea.
And we already have it. We already implemented it. It's already working on the testnet.
That's great. I think that's a brilliant idea. Like, I don't see much use cases at first, but it seems really reasonable to implement it, as there probably will arise some like great use cases out of this.
Yeah, it's kind of like Yamo, just so you know what we're talking about. We're saying we're adding in the metadata the number of bcards that the wallet affiliated with your ID at the moment has collected, because of course an ID itself doesn't actually have the ability to hold anything. So but yeah, so that concept, we kind of thought about it and implemented it like inside 24 hours. So we spent about our day of dev effort to implement that.
That's great. I almost feel like it's kind of like a cloud score in a way. It's more for like validation than it is for trust, credibility, and
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely. Well, I think right now it's cloud, to some degree, but I do think in a larger scale where you don't know everyone, or don't even know of someone, it really can be used for a form of trust. Because another thing that I was thinking about, and this would be like way down the line, is like imagine bcard is like thousands of people, okay? If you want someone to help you validate something on the blockchain, or validate something from in real life to the blockchain potentially. You could find 3 people that have 100 Bcards or 200 Bcards or whatever, would put them in the top 1 or 2%. And if you had 3 people like that verify something on the chain, there's a pretty high chance that thing is accurate. So that's like one of the use cases I was thinking about, is how Bcard itself can act as like a bit of like a notary, for various tasks, and you need the ability to be able to search by Bcard holdings effectively. So we're definitely going to include the metadata for that, but then we're even looking, and this is a lot more complicated, but we're looking at potentially putting where that would put you in terms of rankings versus everyone else. That is a substantially more difficult task, because you have to basically build like an on-chain database to do that. But we already are building like 3 other databases. So, just as well, for your guys' own reference, we're building databases on the blockchain. So like when we say like this is like a Web3 social network, like we don't hold any data like ourselves. We're really building databases on the blockchain, and that's one of the reasons why we're being pretty thoughtful about this rollout, because whatever databases we think we might use, we pretty much have to structure to exist within our existing framework. So that was one thing. And then another thing is an idea that AwareBear had a long time ago that we never really implemented because we couldn't find a clean way to do it. But we are looking at potentially adding some, like, instead of like allowing you to write like a paragraph, the reason we don't want that is if you add a paragraph, there's a high probability that the user might submit something that corrupts like multiple things for their own card. So doing some sort of like character limit line, but giving people maybe multiple lines to fill up the description page. So like if you go into OpenSea right now, it says like the name is everything or something, but maybe there you could have 3 lines where each is 100 characters. I'm making up the specifics, but that would allow you to put like some things about yourself, like a little bio, and you could change that whenever you want to amend it. But basically just adding like basically converting Bcard from just a card to actually a profile. So what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I think it's definitely good to have these custom descriptions. That has been an idea for a while. So can't wait for it to happen. And how easy it will be to search for certain keywords within the descriptions, and how are these type of things?
Yeah, so all of this stuff would be on chain. There may be a way to search for it through it, but I think we would be looking ideally to have separate metadata for specific things. Like, if you're a gallery owner, like for you, 448, like you actually, sell stuff in the metaverse. Like, we would want, this will not be something we roll out immediately because there's many issues around validation, but I do think we want to have the ability to add metadata that is searchable. Like, Rose Jade could easily put and be validated by many people that she is a highly competent, interior designer in the metaverse, right? Like, I'm sure she would get at least 10 people to validate that. And, that would be a tag we want someone to be able to have on their profile. And so we're just looking at various ways to incorporate that as we're building out 2.0. I mean, kind of, we want 2.0 to be really pretty robust and flexible. So we're just trying to consider all these things, because unlike a website, it's very hard to really amend this stuff, as you guys can tell from the Ethereum merge, after it's live. It's not very easy. Obviously, it's like on the chain. So, we're looking at doing, some sort of metadata thing that's searchable for like career type. Another one that we could reasonably have the network verify is probably geographic location. Like, you could probably, if you wanted to be validated on a certain country, I think that would be relatively easy to be validated on. I don't know if that's what people want or not, but basically, we want to be able to take in real life things and validate them on chain. Because just because someone claims to do something in the description doesn't mean that that's actually true. But if you're, validated by your peers, on the network, then it lends credibility that whatever you're saying is actually true. So we think like metadata should be verifiable by the rest of the network, but in descriptions you can kind of write whatever you want. Any thoughts on that? 448 for Rose J?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about, like, is there a nice way to like validate, like, for example, if there is a person that claims to be, I don't know, developer, and he like writes one like fairly simple code that I need for, I don't know, Twitter bot. If I like validate him as a, developer coder, it's like a pretty big thing to do. I think the most like validations would be still like for specific, like these, we were thinking about these cards you sent, like this was a gig, he did like this project, a really nice job. Like validating people, it's like pretty big things to do, and I don't think people will do it like really after just like simple experience, like simple interactions. So yeah, any thoughts on that about like simple validations about specific things, and validations like as a whole, like you are good as this kind of person with these sort of skills, and I validate you. It's like a big thing, I think.
Yeah, it is a big thing. So it's not to be done lightly, right? And I think there's two ways that you'll be able to validate people on chain for a task that's complicated. So I think for one, you could do job-based stuff where you say, you create an NFT that's basically a receipt of your work, and if you have a certain number of those, then you're donned as having, skills in that, skill set, whatever it may be. But then there could be a second way that you can be validated, which is by seeding some people that are clearly experts in a field initially with like developer tokens. And if like 3 of those people distribute a dev token to someone or something like that, then that person kind of has a top-down approval. Like, they're like basically, deemed a subject matter expert by other subject matter experts. But if like you or I needed to validate someone, like if you hired a dev, you are validating through your work product. But if someone else is a dev and then someone, maybe they validate them. And because these validations are on chain, you would be very hesitant to do it incorrectly, right? Because it's not ambiguous. Like, you did validate someone correctly or incorrectly, and your credibility falls if you're doing incorrect stuff. So I think it can either be top down, meaning subject matter experts are kind of approving people, or it can be bottoms up, where work product is validating you.
Yeah, there definitely should be the distinctions about like the scope of the validation, you can say like that. But yeah, I think it's a great concept, like this peer validation, peer networking. Yeah, it's like as it is in scientific community, that you make your research and then it's validated by peers, and then it's published in journals, and it's like a legit schematic on how to do things. So great that we are thinking in the like different concepts, right? Not different, the same ways, and the same concept.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I know we're small and all this stuff, right? But I think, when we're, you're seeing other entities try to imagine social media or whatever. I don't even think social media is the right thing, but just social interaction on the blockchain, right? And I think a lot of them are basically doing some format of Web 2 social media, and then they're like applying it. But I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, like, what are like some of the best, like, well, what is the entire reason to be networked, right? I think it's to really be able to, of course, keep track of your friends, but it's also to be able to search people and search the person that you meet. So, one of the problems in Web3 is it's really hard to find someone that's trusted and has a skill, okay? Like, you might be able to find someone that has that skill, but you don't trust them. You might be able to find someone you trust, but they don't have the skills you need. But what we're trying to do is saying, look, we can build trust through all these other mechanisms. And then we can also validate skill through work product. And that will help both the people that are trying to advertise their skills and the people that are trying to acquire those skills. And we also understand that in, not just Web3, but just in the, kind of modern era, a lot of people are doing work product that is haphazard, like, it's a bunch of gig stuff. And this would allow you to, like, work, online presence to say, hey, this person's done, built 15 sales bots, and he has all this work product. And you know what? When you're searching for someone to build you a sales bot, this person is reliable. This is what this person does. They have a lot of Bcards. They have, they have 15 of these things in their resume, book effectively. And I think that, that would be really useful. And when I think about Bcard, I think, how can Bcard provide utility to people? And I do still think at the core, it's the ability to search for a person. Especially, gotta remember, you're searching for a person that's pseudo-anonymous, right? And you're trying to make sure that person's reliable. Because in the US, let's say, if you hire someone, there's a pretty low probability that they're going to commit fraud against you, because there's too much repercussion. But in Web3, there's very little repercussion for doing that. You just rug your account, you reinvent. But here, you're not going to want to reinvent because, hey, your ID, whatever, you've collected all these cards. There's too much investment in social networking, this social fabric, that you're not going to screw it over to, screw someone over for $1,000. Like, it just isn't going to happen. And if you do, well, that's the thing. I mean, it just heavily reduces the probability of that occurring. So that's why I thought, the first step is to add the Bcard data to the metadata, so really quickly, hey, this person has a lot of cards. Now, the other thing we were thinking about, and I showed this to a few people in this chat, I was just messing with it, is this question about putting the Bcard ID on the Bcard. And the only reason for this is because that cannot be changed, and someone could copy your entire card. They could, mint 448.eth, and they could put, 448 in the subtext, right? And so we went through about, I have literally 85 different Bcards I made today. 85, okay? To get fine form. And what I went with was, I don't even know if we'll go with this, but concept is basically a little tiny watermark, kind of on the same like line as the here, I'll just create a group chat and I'll throw one of them in there so we can see it all together. But I'm not 100% on this, but I do want us to all kind of look at this and consider it, if you don't mind.
I was going to say a focus group for this is so helpful.
And I'll probably like disband this chat after it. It's just literally for this one function. I just want to see what everyone thinks. I showed it to them, but okay, so it's in there.
Because I'm about to get in the car, whole family's in the car, so just to say my quick sense. I think it's super fire. I think it's very discreet. Kind of reminds me of like the dollar bill, how you kind of have to like put a light on the other side, or like, you know, there's like a light bulb on the ceiling, and you yeah, I know, baby. And then you could like kind of see. It's just a nice way to validate. I think it's really cool.
Thank you. That's exactly exactly what I had in mind when I made it. It's a dollar bill.
Hey,
Yeah.
I like. I think that the design could be a little. I don't. I'm not sure about the placement. Maybe in the corner would be, but I don't know. And I was also thinking maybe it could be like black, but really tiny script that it like doesn't pop out. Just my input, but overall, I think it's a great idea to include this. Like gives meaning to the connections, even in that sense, like this first impression of card that you see. So I think it's really cool to have it here. But yeah, we can discuss the placements and the fonts and the color and these kind of specifics.
I dropped another one in there. This is a very different approach. We tried the black. It looks way too. It calls your eye too much. You need it to be. These are very light, very light. This one I just sent you is only 2% coloring. It's almost white.
I like the second one a little bit more personally because I like the ID. I like to rock my ID personally.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea. I personally don't really like either of them. I like the validation part, but I think I don't know. I just like them where you would almost not see them unless you were really looking. Like,
I mean, you got to remember, like, to make it it's basic. The only way to do that is to make it extremely light.
Yeah, no. I mean, I get that. I mean, I definitely like this. I don't know. I think it just. I don't even know. I think I would like it almost like Santa Claus, where it's like around the border, super super small, and you like don't know it's there unless you like look for it. I mean, it's not bad. It's just like for me, all out of that is 120. Like I'm more drawn to the 120 than I am even the darker 3869, just because it's like in the center.
Okay, forget that one then. What about the first one?
I mean, I definitely like the first one more, personally, but it's still it's almost like I don't know if you look at it to someone, they'll be like why is that there or what is that for?
I
It
think
almost looks.
anyone in Bcard would know what that is, though. Okay, here's one more. This is very subtle. You would have to look for it. It's here, but it's very minor. It's lighter. You might not even see it, to be honest.
I
But there
couldn't
is a
see it.
one. What?
When you sent it to me, I couldn't see it. I was like, is there an ID?
I just sent a new one, and there is an ID 120, but it's very faint.
Yeah, as you say, I can only see it when I zoom in, and it's just because I figured it was where you put the first one that I can see it. I kind of like that. Whereas I guess it depends on how I missed part of this. So I don't know if you want to be like easily visible for like verification, or if this is like a like something for you or like just the top people to kind of validate. Or I guess it depends on like me personally, I like this kind of like what I was saying. Like I would do this and like have it in the border or somewhere where it's kind of like hidden, but it's there almost, like you were saying, like the dollar bill, or kind of, even though I know the dollar bill is a little more visible, but I kind of like that route. But again, it depends on what the main goal was. I kind of missed the start of the spaces here.
Let's just go through everyone. Thanks, CG. 448. What do you think?
Yeah, so sorry, maybe I was a bit distracted before. I initially thought that's the number for the connections you have. About the ID, to be completely honest, I don't think it's like that important to include it. I don't think it gives more confusion that it gives the benefit of it. Uh, for example, if it that would be for the count of connections you have made, there would be the benefit that it would like include how validated are you, and it would also um, incentivize people to get more connections, to get more validations as it's displayed there on the B card.
That's actually a good idea. I mean, I think my inclination was if there wasn't like 90% approval in one way or another, like then no action's the best action. Like that's so to me, like this is just too fragmented.
So is there like the ID number of Bcard?
Yeah, and the reason for including that was in case you know basically the thing is everyone can there's that's the only piece of the information that isn't changing. I mean, someone like me, maybe we're not going to change our numbers or something, but a lot of people do change their numbers. They change their subtext. So, if you are thinking about search, you're going to want a way for someone to search you, a year down the line when you've changed your subtext and changed your name.
Mm-hmm. How about this? This is just an idea, but I will leave the link. Okay, so if you go to that item, like there's a they they put they did put HTML or Java. I don't know what it is, but they put something on their PFP, like on the right top. If you click it, they show different side of the profile photo. So I think like we could
That's interesting.
yeah, we could flip the card. So those 24 characters address could be included also on the back side, and then the ID number of Bcard as well.
Okay, there's only one issue I foresee with doing a flipping is one thing on Bcard you need to be aware of is we store the entire thing on chain. So if we were to do a second page, it would double the file size probably.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I do actually like that concept. I don't know. I need to think about that though.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Good Vibes? I really like it though. I didn't even realize that's a thing.
Yeah, I've never seen the flipping, and that is really cool. I honestly did not know what you meant until I clicked it, so that's really cool. Definitely look forward to what you think about that 008. But yeah, I feel like out of all the ones that you sent and listening to the feedback of everybody in here, I'm a big fan of the ID because I like the shows that you were like when you came in personally. I do also see the utility on validating. Right now we're not huge, but one day, God willing, we will be. So, there will definitely, God forbid, be copycats, and a way to validate that, is with ID. So, I feel like the third one, nobody really noticed it until you zoomed in, and I've never zoomed in on a B card, right? So, I feel like you wouldn't necessarily zoom in unless, like, you're trying to validate if that person is who that person is. But it's a nice way to validate. If you're over here getting B cards from 008 and it's a scammer and he's trying to get you in or that type of vibe, you could just, if you're in B card and everybody's aware, you can, zoom in and see that, it's ID 1,500 and that's not 008. So I think it's. I don't think it bothers the eye because like most people said that they didn't see it until they zoomed in. So I think it's a nice happy medium, and I also do agree with 448 on the placement. I feel like the placement's a little off. I feel like maybe more towards the corner would make it a little bit more uniform. But I think the third one that you sent kind of pleases everybody, in my opinion.
Thank you. I think that to me, I'm not. I'm probably inclined not to include it because it's. I need to think about it more, but it doesn't seem like there's consensus on any one decision. So whenever there's not consensus, like it's very questionable in my opinion to change it. So that's one thing. Okay, that's helpful though. The other topic is that's very interesting, Yamo. I need to think about that because if we could have a bat, can we all just talk about? And I am not promising. I have no idea if this is technically feasible, and I kind of think it's not super technically feasible from a data management perspective. But if we could have a back, what would you guys want on that? I'll start. I mean, I would want how many B cards I have, maybe what my rank is. I'd want my description of myself, like my bio.
Or like the day or like the day we join the person joined the
Well,
B
that's
card.
just your B card ID.
Oh,
Yeah, your ID.
yeah.
It's the same concept. What I mean, what do you guys would you want it back? And if so, what would you want on it?
I'm a B card ID fanatic. I'm just one of those I'm one of those oddballs. So I would love the second photo that you put, a big old ID on the back. That would be.
Well, yeah, that's actually what I was kind of thinking that a back would probably be something more. I'm not sure if a fully on chain one can be interactive, though. But it is kind of an interesting topic if there could be a back.
Mm-hmm.
It would really add a IRL vibe, because like a business card for the most part, technically has a front and back. Not everybody puts something on the back, but you could. IRL. So I think it's cool. I think it's a concept worth diving into.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to think about it. I do worry though it would like pretty much double the size of the contract piece, which is a lot of data. It would add like probably 800 to it would probably add almost 1 kilobyte, which is actually very expensive over thousands, tens of thousands of transactions. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how manageable that really is. It's interesting, and I don't think we have enough info yet where we'd want that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what it would be more like is like there could be a separate contract that has like a profile that's like linked to it or something. But I think that might create too much data usage. Okay, so I will think about these things. I get your guys' feedback. To me, the feedback did not seem to go in one direction or another, so kind of maybe not necessary. But we all like the rankings, or not the rankings, but the metadata that has the bcard count, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other metadata wish list stuff?
So just my thoughts on the flipping. Yeah, it's like really cool, but I think it's better to keep it as simple as possible, just for the reason. So it's really simple to build on top of this, and we can include this description or your B card amount in the metadata, and make it searchable by these things. And yeah, I get it's really cool, but I don't know. I feel like Bcards is about simplicity, and just for this reason, and for like maybe future building reasons, it's best to keep it simple as it's possible.
Yeah, I would definitely concur that simplicity matters a lot. Is there any other metadata though, that you guys are interested in at this point?
I don't know, but like I don't know. This is a crazy concept. I don't know where we get from this, but like like the wedding, like like kind of like the metaverse vibe, like kind of getting some sort of like that type of stuff, like a married man, that type of stuff, or I don't know. It's just a random concept.
I got a question. Uh, at the phase of 2.0, like, is this possible to for me to send B card, though I don't know the person's ENS and just know ID?
Is it possible to send it just to their bcard ID?
Yeah.
Well, on our contract, that likely could be done. On their on like MetaMask, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got you.
Yeah, not now, of course. I mean, if we were big enough, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
448. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there should be your ID. So included. My thinking is it's better to not include it visually, but just to have it as the main metadata input, so it's easy to search it by it. Then there should be this subtext, because I was thinking like there should be like this main thing, this hashtag, this that one thing you include, but that's actually like the subtext. And if you're like developer, it's very likely you will just input developer as or dev or something similar as the subtext. So it kind of works like a hashtag, and it should be searchable. And then there should be a description in the metadata, so it's also searchable by that. And one other thing which could maybe bring some value, if the like network is big, may I think there is ways to like falsely make fake accounts, validate each other, and pump up the connection side of things. And maybe it's valuable to have the like how many days are you in the network already. For example, if person uh, person has 100 connections but he's like 2 days old, that's like definitely not legit. And even if a person is doesn't have many connections but he's in the bcards for a year or like 5 years, when we are like 6 years old, or so it gives some meaning to it and probably gives some validity as well. What are your thoughts on that, like your age in bcards?
Yeah. So let me go through what you said. So to start with, the subtext. Well, first off, the ID is currently searchable, currently, and it will be searchable in 2.0. The subtext is currently not searchable. It will be searchable. It's already searchable in the testnet. Okay. The descriptions, I am not sure if that is searchable on OpenSea, but that would be searchable on a customized DApp because it would be in the metadata. But I'm not sure how that's searchable right this second on OpenSea specifically. But the other ones for sure would be, you know, and then the age. I mean, the age is pretty much the ID. But you could, I guess, also have like days in network. I
Oh
will
yeah,
see
actually it is. Yeah,
what.
fair point.
Yeah, it's a little, you know, the reason the ID is relevant is, for example, let's say that 3 years from now, we could say, every ID before 37,000 is 2 years old, and like kind of like how Reddit does it, we would keep like our own track of like where these delineations occurred. So, you could have a badge for 1 year in the network or something, but without actually having to track the date because you have an ID based one. But I can add that. I mean, maybe my guess is we probably already have some time dynamic. But yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, I thought of, yes, people could create these spam network things. Um, there's ways to maybe combat it, like, but they get very convoluted and, um, I don't think they will be relevant for months at minimum. I think we'd have to be quite successful before we would hit like spam issues. And I think between now and then we can probably come up with better. Because the one counter to spam is it still is kind of expensive to versus a social network, and it's also relatively complicated to do. So I don't know if someone would care to spam this network, because there isn't the same upside that you would get maybe in spamming like Twitter. Um, people are not links, so yeah, I don't even know how the spammers really make money on Twitter, but clearly they're monetizing something. Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of reorganizing some stuff, thinking more about like what do we want to use in Bcard. I mean, I know I would check people's Bcard more if data showing me how active they were in Bcard, and I also think I would check people's Bcard profile more if they were customizing their bios. So those to me seem like very obvious upgrades. But from there, I don't have as much clarity on what the next major upgrade would be. But I'm all ears, because now's kind of the time, as we're getting close to implementing this stuff. Everything I'm talking about so far is live on the test net. So, but this is kind of the time zone where if we do have something we really want, we probably have to implement it nowish.
What about like attendance, like a way to track attendance, like kind of like these spaces, you know?
Realistically, that's not manageable because that is, you gotta think like this is pretty fringe relative to the entire community. Like this is like people that want to build in the metaverse. I think maybe anything that you're going to put on has to be able to be validated in scale. Do we really want to be sitting here doing little microtransactions to validate each other? I mean, we know who comes to these. So, but there could be potentially validation about having a space and on cyber or something, but I'm thinking more about like big stuff that we might be missing. 448, do you have anything?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean maybe there isn't, right? It's like I guess the question I'm thinking is there anything when I go to someone's Bcard that I would want to know that's currently not displayed? And is there anything I would like to tell the world about that is currently not displayed? So I would like to write a bio, maybe including like your Twitter handle or other contact information. You could do that in your description.
That's what I first thought of when you were talking about flipping card. The only thing I would probably want on the back is kind of the same thing, like people that, whether your personal on cyber room, your Twitter profile, and if you really, really wanted to, like an open sea wallet or something. That's what I was thinking, but that was kind of it.
Yeah, so I mean, if you have multiple lines of text, you'd clearly be able to put all that stuff.
Yep, exactly. And then as far as like the validation stuff, I was thinking like, I like the idea of that being more like unseen unless you were really looking for it.
Yep.
So like the metadata for location 8, are you gonna do are you gonna do like countries? Are you gonna do like that's probably too many? Are you gonna do like continents or something like that? Or have you thought about that
I
for
mean,
like
so
location?
just from a data perspective, it's not the how many, right? It's how many types of data. So if you have country data, that's just a type of data. You could have obviously 190 countries. You could have 1,000 countries. You're recording basically in the same data set. So the count of potential things isn't the big deal. It's the type of data you want to collect. And then these would be databases that sit publicly on the chain, right? So it would have to be something that we think a decent number of people would want to share. And, basically we're just creating like a directory, that is searchable. Like if you want to be searchable in Web3, if someone wants to meet, the number one metaverse interior designer, you want to be searchable if you want to get hired for those jobs. If you want to be a consultant in ENS, flipping like 448 could easily be, you want to be searchable and not maybe just on Twitter. So, I think it's about helping people find, it's a mix of, what information do you want to provide that doesn't necessarily compromise your pseudo anonymity while, making you easier to search for people that are relevant to search you.
What about like time zone, so people know like what's the best time to contact you?
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe put time zone. Are people okay giving away that sort of information?
Probably more so than my actual location.
You mean like USA or something? Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could put time zone, something like that. Maybe that, yeah, that could be maybe something. I mean, the other thing is, these are not things we have to do now. It's just like, I mean, to me, the number one thing is like what your occupation is. That seems like a relevant thing, or what, skill you're using in, whatever your expertise is in Web3. To me, that seems like the most critical thing that you maybe would want on there. Whatever you think, you're driving utility to people for, to me would probably make sense to put on your card. But I don't know if there's any other, relevant things like, or maybe if you had skills that you wanted to list off, that could be useful too.
What about like relationship status?
Like, what do you mean?
Like single, married? Can we verify the? Can we like? I'm just trying to think.
I feel like that's a little too.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think that's even relevant.
Right. Yeah, it's basically like, what are you good at? Like, where are you from, and who do you know? And we're like basically trying to tackle all those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's more of a business perspective, not so like the social aspect, but it's low. It seems like right the Bcard business. So like I guess it wouldn't so much be like a dating network, right? I mean, pretty sure one day it could probably turn into something into that, but from right now, from my understanding, it's more business oriented.
Yeah, I don't think dating in this 96% male thing makes a ton of sense. Definitely not the intent. Definitely not the intent.
Maybe years of experience in regards to the occupation. I don't know how you could validate
Web3, 14 years of experience.
That's pretty gnarly.
That's a joke.
LOL.
Yeah. I was joking because all these Web3 jobs always ask for like 8 years of experience, but like Web3 hasn't been around 8 years, So yeah, so I think maybe we're good. I mean, we don't necessarily need any more things, right? We're trying to be simple. I just wanted to open it up to the floor, in case I was missing something, I would be open to, admitting that and trying to remedy it. But it doesn't seem like there's a huge right now.
Did you guys say Twitter handle in the metadata or no?
I don't think we're gonna have a specific box for that, but if you were to put your Twitter handle, you could put that in the description.
Oh wait, are we moving forward with the bios?
We are currently looking into adding bios. The bios will be a little bit different format than we initially thought. Instead of a paragraph, which causes lots of problems because people might put stuff that doesn't work. Maybe having a few boxes that you could fill out with like, you know, one line of information, but you know, a few boxes gives you a few lines of information, and that way you can update your profile as well. You know, you could maybe put, you know, one idea that I always initially thought of was that you could put like just a checkbox, like, are you looking for a job, you know, and then if so, like, what is that job you're seeking, and then someone, you know, looking for someone in a certain field would be able to search by people that have that skill set and then also are looking for a job. Is that something useful?
Um, about adding this info and metadata, actually not completely sure. Maybe there could be like a built. I think the idea of like a community, like posting job offers or posting skills in certain metaverse places, it's better than like adding this including this info and metadata. um, Maybe there could be like built like page for bcarders to look for jobs or to like post job offers, but I don't think that's necessary to include. Like that's not any like primary thing, and yeah.
Well, I mean, if it's not in the metadata, it's not searchable, right? So if you have a skill and it's verified on chain by other people, you would probably want that to be in the metadata, because otherwise no one will find you. You know, that's the thing. Like, why is LinkedIn useful? It's because, you know, people are able to find people with certain skill sets on LinkedIn. But currently in Web3, I don't think that really exists. But I don't think that's going to be early Bcard 2.0. You know, this, what we're talking about right now is probably, you know, Bcard 2.1, 2.2. I mean, I don't think these things are going to be launched in the short term. So short term would be metadata about what's on your, what you've collected, and then maybe at the same time, maybe a little after it, something around a bio. And then the bio would be relatively free form. I don't think there'd be much restriction on what you could write there. Now, we do have to say, of course, if someone was very malicious and wrote something extremely inappropriate that would get us kicked off like OpenSea, you know, there may be administrative repercussion for that. But I think that's pretty fringe. I don't think anyone in Bcard currently would do that. But, you know, there may need to be, you know, when you're doing bios, you do open yourself up to malicious actors a little bit more. But I think in general, we just need to operate with the assumption that some people will be bad, but it'll be like pretty fringe, like, you know, 1 in 1,000 people type stuff. Maybe 1 in 500, you know, not like that, not high frequency. Okay, so, you know, we're getting closer on this. I think it's worth putting in some extra days to add this metadata stuff that's more robust, because it kind of separates Bcard, you know, from other projects, because this would be like metadata that your actions impact how the metadata plays out. You know, versus if you buy a typical NFT, the metadata is static towards your NFT. Maybe it changes if your NFT is upgraded, but this metadata, you know, can improve with your own actions. So how you know, are operating within Bcard, you know, impacts the metadata directly, which is kind of interesting versus other projects. Okay. So I think we're probably pretty done on that sort of stuff. We could probably revert to doing metaverse things, but I do deeply appreciate your guys' feedback on everything. You know, we've been spending like constant time building this stuff out, and I know it seems like we're just delaying it always, but with the blockchain stuff, it's you can't really go back, so you got to be real careful about what you're deploying, and we just want to make sure that we're deploying something robust that we all find useful. But just to show you guys, actually, one little thing from the testnet, I sent this to 448, or I mean 3869 earlier, because he was kind of advising me on this this concept around the number of B cards collected. But I'll show you what that kind of looks like on the metadata. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen the stats used before, but that's where this data will be sitting. So this was just a testnet one, so it doesn't have a ton of B cards. But the cool thing is you're going to be able to search by number of B cards. So you could search, like, I only want to see people that have 50 B cards, you know, for whatever task you care to need. But yeah, so basically in the stats page, it'll show number of B cards collected. It's in the focus group chat if you want to see it.
That's cool. That's really cool. Why is it 4 out of 8? 4 of 8. What does like refer to?
This is a test net,
Oh,
so we don't have like the full. You know, we launch new testnet things regularly to test little features. So this, we just created a little mini network of like, you know, 8 cards, and we were sending, you know, various ones around. We don't recreate like our whole network every time. So this was just a mini network. So this B card wallet had collected 4 B cards. There were 8 B cards available. So that is another thing that will be on there, I suppose. So like, let's say there's 300 B cards outstanding. I'll say you've collected 104 of 300 B cards. Hopefully it'll be like, you've collected 1,200 of 800,000 B cards.
yeah, that sounds more like it. So yeah, I added pricings to the other gallery. Not really sure. Because I like curated these pieces more by coloring and by themes, but it's not like curated by price. So I basically added price to each different piece except all the Polaroid ones, which are at static pricing. But yeah, if you like can come jump in and comment, because it's like metaverse store and like this price. I think this like pricing thing is the most important one. It's like how much, and the second one is how do you convey those pricings so that they don't take a lot of like the artwork space in the gallery, and second doesn't mess with the vibe, because I
each, just so you know what that means.
yeah, that's a valid point.
You know, the like you have bcards from the people that are in the top 25, which is more validation than just anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we don't have sufficient data to start making those sorts of judgments. I think that we'll know more when the network is super active, and we can think about things like that. But I don't want to get to the point where we're creating stuff that's like a credit, like a social score or something. Like I'm not too keen on that. Like I do kind of respect the concept that like we're all like equal bcard validators, and it's more about like the number. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of undecided. Except if you were to receive a bcard from someone that has a lot, then you personally would probably find that more valuable. Yeah, good vibes. You have like a lot of background noise.
Oh, I think it's not bad.
I think if we are talking metaverse stores, it's important to like come up with like good logic, so your one can curate it so it looks beautiful, and secondly, yeah, to add pricing. But yeah, probably I could do that for fun.
No, I meant for pay. You could probably do that, or like you could get people
more fun this way.
Okay, here's another question on auctioning. So, see, like I think our group could do a real auction where we bid from like no reserve, zero, and because in the normal
like even check them out when already someone else has bought them, so making those as an more like maybe events when they are all revealed, and then there's some sort of auction. So if like I really fall in love with some piece, I have a chance to get it, maybe for a little bit higher price. But it's more like an event, and really encourages not like just to it's really like you have like a week for this one piece, so you really want to make it great, because there will be people who will see it, who will discuss it. So it's not like just some mock-up and things like that.
Yeah, so I mean, a simple concept we could do is we could do as a community like one auction where we, each person, not each person, but people could contribute pieces, and I would recommend just my some of the best sports auctions I know, and these people are selling millions of dollars of sports stuff a year. They start everything at like a penny. So in our case, like 0.01 ETH, and the reason for that is by the time it gets to a higher price, there's a lot of people bidding on it. And so in my opinion, those will trade at market prices. more often than not, because you basically do no reserve, start at a low price point, and then you just do like live auction. We're all here. You say, type on the screen what you want to bid, and as long as it's like below like 1 ETH, I don't think people have to worry about it being settled. Or what you could do is you could flash like how much ETH you have in your wallet, and then just don't bid over that amount. What do you think about doing like a live auction? I just think that would be pretty interesting. I think people would come to that.
Yeah, I would do it just because like it sounds like a lot of fun. So I would just like be involved in that. If you guys want to do wherever you guys want to do it, it's good. Yeah, I mean, I'd even like to get some auctions started up maybe in art shop. So that's kind of
Yeah, I
cool.
mean,
Yeah, like we could have
it
a
would be
weekly
cool
thing,
for like 20 pieces being auctioned off.
right? That's super cool. I'm definitely gonna think about that. I'd love to host or whatever.
It could be a mix of stuff people in Bcard make and also like general art. It could be ENS things too. I mean, whatever people want. Does anyone, for proof of concept, is there anything we could just auction off right now?
You mean the references or
What?
you mean the reference?
To reference, yeah, just to kind of see how it would play out. Like, I see 448 here. I see the WM3869. We all buy stuff, pretty regularly.
Yeah, so in my opinion, like auction itself will be kind of tough. So like we could mix it up with exhibition session or something like that. Like so, people we gather together, curate those pieces, and then like at the end, like there's a small session for an auction maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think auction could be like a pretty main event because no one actually does no reserve auctions in Web3. I very rarely see that, because even on Foundation or some shit, it's like first you got to bid a lot. But I like no reserve auctions start at low, like, hey, I'm gonna auction
Yeah.
off whatever, like I mean, like let's say, I mean, my guess is if we auctioned off some stuff with even 5 people that are semi interested in buying a thing, it would trade very close to market price. And if people like know if a lot of people are aware of it, because basically the way people do auctions right now in Web3 is this weird way where they like drop the price, or like the auction. Okay, so in sports collectibles, the way it works is you have a lot of auctions, like hundreds ending at like the same time. So everyone's bidding at like the same time. The problem with auctions in Web3 is they end like sporadically, so no one's like concentrating on it. But if we had like an event where it's like, 20 of us got together and we were like bidding on 20 things in the same hour, then there's a good chance stuff would sell. That would be a pretty cool thing. I mean, I think like Brute would be an interesting gallery for that. I mean, where the pieces are large format.
Yeah, like it's really interesting. Like we just started this like kind of like this economy inside the metaverse, and I think an auction would just be a spectacular event to showcase that. It would cause a lot of buzz, and I think we could get probably good density
Mm-hmm.
if we kind of let it be known, market it a little bit. We have a lot of players in the community that can draw people in ENS and art blocks and our work. So I think if we do any of those, like I don't know, that sounds like an event I would attend.
Yeah, I mean, like, it could be a main event. I'm not disagreeing agree with that, but what I mean was like to you know, to get more people to participate because like some of them are not really how can I say, like, not really get used to this kind of auction just yet. So like we should get more people to show what it is and what it how it works, and then yeah, it could be main event, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, just as a bit of an FYE ammo, I think a lot of people in NFTs from America, from the US, come from like collectibles, and they're very used to auctions. So I do think there's a segment of people very used to auctions, and I think maybe not everyone, but enough people where it'd be interesting. I mean, because there's so many curated events already in the metaverse, but it'd be cool to have, you know, some sort of, because auctions are kind of like a form of, it's not gambling, but it's like it's exciting, right? There's like, competition going on and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. Like that hype and the MSB. I totally agree with that. Like because like though I like won some auction of some artworks, but it didn't feel like you know like in the auction. You know what I mean? Because it takes too long, and like sometimes like I just go to sleep and wake up and like check how did it go, something like that. But if it was like a live auction, yeah, and then yeah, it would be much interesting, and you
like came down from 2 to 1 or and a little bit below, there was really big spike in registrations, and like the next day was followed by really big spike in volume, which was on OpenSea. Now it's a bit harder to see this data as much of the volume happens on ENS Vision, but yeah, but it like happened 2 times. It's not like anything definite, but could be worth to keep an eye out if there's like a really big spike in those 2 metrics. It's possible that you could land on some deal quite cheaper in the following week.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I guess my hypothesis is that we're probably seeing new flows, and to me, if we see another 2 weekends where it's strong, and then the weekdays it sells off, to me, then it's pretty evident that you are seeing new flows. And when I make other investments, I like to make hypotheses. Well, if I think this is occurring, what would give me confidence? So to me, we should see the weekend phenomenon, I think, if it's new flows. If it's existing flows, people like us, we don't care, we buy whenever. But people that are just buying when they're free time, they're buying on the weekends. I mean, another type of thing is you can tell where the buying comes from. When markets are really hot, usually it's either Asia or US dominated in terms of where the buyers are from. So depending on the time of day, last year for art curated, there was clearly a lot of buying out of Asia. So when it was Singapore morning, it would start rallying. People just buy like crazy because the biggest buyer in the market was 3 Arrow Capital, the fund that blew up. So you can also kind of tell maybe them buying $20 million or $30 million of art curated was a bad sign. But I think it'll be interesting because Wednesday historically, in my experience, was the weakest day. So we're actually following that pattern pretty heavily. And so if 4 digits, you're even up to say 1.5 tomorrow, then I'd be oh, well, maybe we are seeing that weekend phenomenon return, which I haven't really seen in ENS before.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. Hey, good to have you here.
Yes, it's just just kind of going back from this topic to Bcard stuff, because I've been having lots of people asking me oh, where can when can they join us? But then so the one thing I was thinking about is that when I join from mobile, right, and I go to that room, so if I join from mobile, I can only send one message, right? So if someone new joins us, my friend, and he's goes there, and he can only send one message, or at least that's what my experience has been. And then, so do we have a workaround around that, or maybe on Cyber is working around that or something?
So just to clarify, it's not that you can only send one message. You can only send one message, maybe per minute or something. So if you just pause, you can send another message, but you do have to be logged in, and that is an on Cyber constraint. There's no workaround we have because this is their system.
Okay, because the other thing 3869 was suggesting me I connect my hot wallet or whatever, I create a wallet, right, and just connect it. But that made me thinking, how safe, I know you're more about safety. I'm but how safe is on Cyber, Do we know?
My only point, I think they're reasonably safe just based on the sheer volume or sheer value of assets tied to it. You know, nothing is safe as well, but you know, I think they're reasonably safe. Clearly, like 6529, you know, their ecosystem ties their assets to it. They have like, you know, fidenzas that are, you know, 7-figure fidenzas tied to it. I don't know.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would recommend just creating a brand new mobile wallet. That way, nothing's at risk.
Yeah, that's what you told me. That makes sense too. But to me also, I'm not the one who's using lots of mobile applications or like the ones that like connected to that stuff. So I'm like, you know, just testing it out from like if I'm just a normal person, never heard about ENS, and as soon as you just go there and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I can type there. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna leave now because I can't even talk. But it kind of makes sense now.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, that's not us issue, right? That's on Cyber, and the reason they're doing that is they want you to obviously connect your wallet. I personally do not use crypto on mobile ever. So if you ever like, if I'm ever on there, I'm just like on the MFer thing, because I personally think, you know, crypto mobile equals you getting hacked eventually, likely. Or, you know, it definitely increases the probability. A lot of the big hacks come from that, where people, you know, back up to the cloud on mobile, has their passwords in there, their Apple account gets hacked, and then they lose all their assets. I mean, that someone lost like 5 Bored Apes recently due to this, or, you know, multiple Bored Apes do that recently.
So, 8, did you consider buying the timepiece? The journal core for the Bcard space for the GM coffee.
Sorry, what are you referencing?
I don't know, maybe you didn't check it out. I sent you, there's this time, the journal time, they recently.
Oh, I saw it. I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
it.
It's like
Yeah, I looked
pretty
at
cheap.
it. I didn't not buy it or buy it. I didn't buy it but not for really any reason. I think I was just on my phone when I looked it up. What's timepieces? Okay.
Yeah, it's not like anything special. There are 2.4K of them, but it's kind of cheap, and I think it just fits the coffee because it's a journal, a cover, and kind of fits the vibe. It's like $80 at the moment.
Where did you send it to me?
On Twitter, your 8 profile. I sent the second half of the link after
Okay.
OpenSea.io
Yeah.
/
I did
dashboard.
see it. That was perfect use of that. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
They as far as I understand, they launched it, and then people could both buy them, and there was like lottery of the limited edition, this mock-up version, this sketch, which are like 10 pieces. So probably these were sent out, and or the others are selling this cover off, but I don't know. Seems just interesting. Maybe others think that it's interesting as well.
Yeah. Cool. I'll check it out. I'll probably get it. Thank you. I think I know where it would go well. Give me a second.
Because I couldn't find, but I think they launched this like the design really early, like almost a year ago, and I think there were like limited editions, and they were selling pretty high. But at the moment I couldn't find them, and I found only this 2.4K edition piece.
Yeah.
But for like displaying purposes, it's perfect. It's cheap, and it has Metaverse name in it.
Yep. Yeah, give me 1 sec. I'll put it in the coffee shop.
Hey, I see Melted is on here. Hey, Melted, for the community gallery, you're gonna have to change your art because you sold it.
Hey, 448. If you go in the coffee shop and you refresh it, it's there. And I put it kind of by the like by the coffee section, like where the menu is. It's actually looks very nice. Thank you. Very good.
Yeah, I actually envisioned you putting it around that place because there was this other like news
Yeah,
NFT
it wasn't
or something
like
like
it was
that.
just like more of a you know, I didn't have the right thing to put there, but that's a perfect spot for it.
Yeah, the coloring in that place is like really popping, so it feels very nice.
Yep. That's actually a very good addition. Thank you so much for bringing it up to me again.
Sorry about that. I was on my desktop.
Hey, Mel, did you hear what I said earlier?
Yeah, my bad. I was on my desktop. I had to switch. I had to
Okay.
switch over to my phone. I was trying to talk, but it wouldn't let me. Yeah, I'll do that right now. I'm gonna do this little like test thing. I was telling 3869 about it. I'm gonna see how it works out.
Oh, by the way,
Um,
is the one you posted right now in the shop, is that part of the new thing you're working on, or that's
no,
separate?
that's
Oh, okay.
separate. Yeah, I'm gonna make a new collection right now. That's actually what I'm doing right now. How you guys doing?
Good. You know, 448. I actually need to look through some of my old wallets because I have like some. Have you ever heard of this thing called the Red Lion Gazette?
No, I have not. What is that?
It's like this crypto magazine, and I actually have some pieces that I bought last year. Like I'm looking at like when this thing came out, like you know, August of last year or something. I bought some of these things, or I mean, these are like one of the pieces I have like, you know, came out June of last year. It's not like they're very expensive, like, you know, between 0.2 and 0.5 ETH maybe for some of these, but you know, still would be kind of cool like magazine type stuff to put in there maybe.
Yeah, I really like the magazine vibe and news vibe in the coffee place, and that one piece that you had there really gave me this thought that also this cover would fit there well. So yeah, check it out, and if you find it, then let us know.
Yeah, I need to find like the best I mean, so my earliest one. I'm just looking at it like when it came out. This is like on one of my old wallets, so bear with me. It's got to be. Oh man, wow, holy crap! Came out in, this is a pretty old NFT. January of 2021. Or yeah, year and a half old magazine.
Is it nice visually?
I'm trying to find one that I have that is nice visually. Some of them have like animations on them. Um, they're not like super obvious crypto ones. Some of them are better than others. So I need to find the right, like a good one. I'll send you a link real quick to one of the ones I have. It'll take me a bit though. It's not in like, I have to get it out of like an old wallet, so it might be a bit of a pain. But oh wow, did you see this timepieces slices thing? That's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, guys, definitely let me know if you see other pieces that are kind of like what 448 suggested. You know, where like the price point is, reasonable, and you think it would look good in a common space.
Yeah, there's also time issued like cover with Alec, but it's .12. It's like $200. So I don't know if that makes it worth it. But yeah, if like you really dig it, then it would probably also fit well. But
What's
like
it
yeah,
called?
time issue .1 dash with Alec return. But yeah, it's like it's not like investment purpose, you know. It's for wives, and 200. It's like gets you considering is it really worth it.
I don't know. I kind of don't even. That one's less appealing to me. Like just visually, I don't think it like kind of goes as well.
Yeah, definitely. The that first design, it's kind of iconic because I think they launched this journal like 2021, and this was like the first like big uh journal that's like made this big headline with metaverse in it, and really good visualization of it. And yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. That's really good. I like that addition. Like that holds its own against some much more expensive pieces in there. The that piece that's next to it is actually done by a Bcard holder though. By a 5010, if you've ever talked to him. I was thinking about maybe putting the menu for like that's in the art shop actually there next to it, like on the other side of there. What do you think of that concept?
I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
So I need a mint new.
I'm all pro. All for it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, because this flyer for art gallery, they also you included like small versions of the artwork, and maybe it's like you can do those a bit bigger, so it kind of like tells you what can you find there and encourages to check it out yourself. Maybe add the link in the bottom of the image so people know where to go for it.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if enough is changed there. I mean, should I take out 5459s because it's sold? Probably. So right now, the people that have stuff for sale are Melted, Rose Jade. Did anyone sell their piece today? So I won't include it. Did anything
I think
sell?
I'm about to buy it though. From Rose Jade.
Okay, well I think she's gonna list another one, probably, right?
Yeah, I can list another.
Yeah, Rose. I think you messed up on the description for this one though. Like you put Jordan Cerise as the name, but it says Steel in the description.
Oh, okay. I wonder if I can update it. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, you'll be able to update it.
Okay, thanks.
Should I just send you the ETH now? I think I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, you just send her the ETH. That's what I did. Is I sent it to her and then.
Okay.
Thank you.
It feels so good to like buy art from Bcard members, like people you know.
Yeah, it does. Hey, who made that? The one in there, cup. Hold on, I'm gonna get in there right now. My bad, I was finishing this thing. The cupcakes. Her birthday cake, was it?
I don't think there's a birthday cake.
It was like the first one on the right.
Oh, it's like a birthday. But
Are you guys in the art shop right now?
yeah.
Oh, I'm coming in there. Yeah,
Just
birthday.
to be aware, that birthday one is an addition, not a one of one.
Mark, have you sold this?
That one, the green and purple one, I don't think he sold it yet.
I don't believe so. I think it's 0.1 ETH. And I think with anyone in here that like lists theirs, like you can just send them like the payment and they'll send you the art later. That's what I've been doing.
I think if like I think that might be not the way to do it, just because like trying to grow as artists. I think the sales on these sites help, but I mean it's obviously up to everyone. But I think like Rose, what do you think? When I think just like for like trending and stuff, if you transfer it instead of it selling, um, you're less likely to get into those algorithms.
I mean, you're not gonna get into algorithms with 0.1 sales.
Yeah.
Just straight up. So
Yeah, Mercs isn't for sale.
they're all for sale. We've been selling them directly in the metaverse, so that's why we're not.
Oh, okay.
So like
you guys,
I bought his, but I just sent him 0.1. I bought Rose Jade's, I just sent her 0.1. I mean, also you don't have to pay fees if you just send it.
okay. So this art shop that Mercs, so he's gonna have to mint a new one whenever anything sells, or is there a way to do this? I'm trying to think of a way to do it like off chain or cheaper. It's on the ETH mainnet.
Well, yeah, because everyone really wants art on ETH, So
Yeah.
I don't think people are too concerned with like it being $5.
Oh no, I'm talking about more the menu. He's got this art shop menu.
Oh,
It
I
might be
made
better.
that on Polygon.
Okay, yes.
But obviously that's gonna, it's more like supposed to just be like, your name and price point. But I said I'd update it when like enough people's changed, but like we still have a few people that haven't shifted theirs.
Yeah.
So I'll update it when Rose Jade tells me her new piece, because I can do it. I'll just basically get rid of 5459 because she didn't put a new piece up there, and we can have the other 4 pieces. Or we could just leave Rose, or what's her name's, and she'll probably. She did tell me she's working on another piece, so.
I'm still enjoying that timepiece. I think it looks amazing. I left some offers on my own as well.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I also like that the title fits into the metaverse. The next digital era will change everything. Like, kind of fitting on what we are doing here.
Hey, 448. I mean, other than like, I think the art shop's good, but if more people develop like stores, we can also put like a directory of like places to go that are, shops, like your shop. There's a few people that are doing that. I think that would be another cool like, Polygon thing that we can throw up. And then um tomorrow I think I'm gonna try and mint some NFTs that can kind of be used inside the coffee shop, like if you order a coffee. So we can play around with that sort of concept. But I designed some kind of an NFT that I think works if you want to order a coffee in the metaverse. I already showed it to WDM. He thought it was pretty cool. So we'll see. But I think it'd be kind of like, as odd as it may sound, I think it would be kind of cool to be able to like, if you had like someone like, a 3402 there who likes to do this, like take your order for a coffee, give you a coffee NFT, you can later display that NFT, or if you want to throw it out and put it in a burn wallet, you can do that too.
That's really cool, though. I think a bunch of us who love GM coffee would want it.
Yeah, and then I've been also messing with like just various GMs, like I don't know, I put like a green tea one, like a matcha tea one in the chat today. But basically like trying to create like a bunch of different things. So, if you had like, so far I've created a few NFTs. I created one for a latte. I created one for a hot chocolate. I think I'm going to create like NFTs for like all the menu. What do you think?
Super fun. I love it.
Okay. And yeah, I think you guys, I think it's a little more creative, maybe even than other things to this point. So, yeah, 448.
I'm stoked to see what you will be launching tomorrow, and seeing those art pieces. And one other thing, I don't know if it's like maybe it's just fun. Uh, for example, there's this kind of Bcard GM thing, and it could be like an NFT which we like send to each other. Hopefully, it doesn't get lost, but it like changes the how it looks every time. So if, it starts with just GM. Then if you send it to another person, it's GM. Then the third person, it's GM, and like till infinity. And we could like collectively make this piece grow if no one like takes it and leaves
Yeah.
it at the
So,
wallet.
so wait a little bit till tomorrow. I've got like a concept kind of like that. And then separately, I was already thinking about a GM like little like generator thing I've been messing with. That's like basically when you send a GM, it creates like a little custom, you know, and like custom little like not emoji, but like a coffee cup, but it has variances and color changes, um, something like that. So you're thinking just like basically one NFT that goes through a bunch of people's wallets, and each person's wallet it adds one GM.
Yeah, that was and I think it's a cool idea. There was this thing with ENS storage. I think it got lost somewhere, so probably GM thing also would get lost. But maybe it's even fun to have this little risk, so you really make sure to know the person you're sending to and hope he he won't fall love in with the piece too much. So yeah, just as a concept like community art, and after a while, if it gets bigger, it's pretty cool. It has like gone through like thousands of GMs, and it's still like rolling every day.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting concept. That would definitely require some sort of smart contract to set up. Um, but yeah, we could think about that. But yeah, I mean, tomorrow, I mean, I'm thinking about doing a cup of coffee that you order, and then maybe even like a punch card where you get like, like when you go to a coffee shop, and if you buy a coffee like 10 times, and each time the person has to like sign it, something like that.
You could make like a GM virus. For example, it's not like one NFT, but it's like ERC one 1155, and it's kind of like if you get it, you can't really get rid of it. Rid of it. It's SBT, but maybe it duplicates itself as soon as you try to send it to you. So it's like a virus, and it's probable that everyone at some point gets the GM virus in their wallet, and they can get rid of it.
You can set that one up. I don't know if I want to infect anyone's wallet.
Yeah, that's like it's like some funny ideas going through my head tonight.
What I'm thinking about doing is like making it first like an ETH version of the coffee idea, and then of course making a Polygon version. Um, but WDM kind of was wanting I was thinking about doing like a custom one to like all the regular people, maybe, and then having this concept where if people want to actually have a coffee experience, give them a coffee experience. I wish there was like a way to like share, but just with this group of people. But I don't think there is. There a way to do that? Is there?
I think you can add the comment and underneath, so it's easier for us to find it. But probably it will not be private, and people will be able to find the comment you made after like the space post.
Okay, so I'll just make the thing tomorrow, and then I'll show it to you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, great. I think I have a lot. And
yeah, I think we're good
for
to
the
go.
space.
So thank you very much, everyone. Talk to you guys later.